New York, New York. Jets, Giants, both top 10. Giants are third
Annually
on the big
top
board.
10.
Well, we're past the Rodgers era in the Jets world. Aaron Glenn under center. Obviously, the Giants go 3 quarterbacks. DeVito for $1 million, Jameis for a little more, Russ for a little over 20. So they have 3 quarterbacks. Let's start out with the Giants at the 3. Cam Ward, as we talked about yesterday, minus 10,000 to go to the Titans. Browns is up for discussion, but if you're the Giants GM here and you're sitting with Morrow, what are you doing at the 3?
Reports come out. We're recording this on a Tuesday.
Yeah, about a week and some
out.
change.
Shedeur and the Giants are going to have a workout, private workout for just them two. They're going out to Boulder to sit down with Shedeur Sanders and try to get to know him a little more, potentially. That's not nothing for me.
Yeah, that's right.
This tight. You know what that says to me? They
Dox
don't know.
me.
They don't know who they're going to pick yet. If you knew you were going to go Abdul Carter, you would just or Travis Hunter or vice versa, whoever's available, you wouldn't. There'd be no reason to fuel up the jet and go to Colorado.
So that 3 quarterback signing could very well be a pump fake.
We're talking about DeVito doesn't count.
No, but you got Russ for $21 million. That's a wild signing to go out 3-4 weeks later and get a rookie.
Hey man, maybe they go the sit and learn route. That really
could be the sit and learn route.
If there's one market that wouldn't work, it's this one.
Because Giants fans want to win it right now.
It would the chatter around that. Even Kirk Cousins was lights out for like the first 9 weeks of the season. Lights out strong, but he was good.
For Atlanta?
Yeah. And then he had 3 bad games in a row, and it was like, hey.
Panics.
Get this guy out of here. He's old. He can't move. He's turning it over. It's done. I could see that happening in a half.
With Russ?
With Russ. This dude is old and stinks. Give me the new guy that can actually get some experience and roll. And that's probably the right move. But as we know,
so you're on this plane headed out. If you see everything positive, are you flying back to the Meadowlands thinking about going with Deion's son?
If it's a home run and you believe he can be a game changer, absolutely. It's so hard to play court. There's legitimately, how many people are on the planet, Monaco? 6.5 billion.
So you're asking me? 7?
I saw a report that it might be underestimated. There might be more than like 10 billion on the planet.
What?
If you account for rural areas, that's anyway.
They're off by 3 bill.
The census has been wrong for years, but
It's a long
I digress.
walk home after that.
At
10
least
billion?
8 bill. At least 8 billion. But we
Okay,
might be
8
missing
billion.
a couple good quarterbacks
Call
out
it
there.
8. Yeah, there might be one in India or something. That's
100?
There might be a quarterback hiding out in New Delhi we don't know about. But until we find that guy,
Yeah.
out of 8 billion, there's about 15 quarterbacks that could actually play.
15?
Yeah, there's that could actually play. There's 15. There's more than that?
20?
Okay, call it 17. There's 17 guys that could legitimately play quarterback. It's just very difficult. So if you believe that Shedeur could be one of those guys, like a top 10 guy,
Well, let me
gotta
ask
go
you
with
this.
him.
We did a mock draft on Better Half, and you were first and you were third, and I was second. If I didn't take Sanders to the Browns, which is 15-1, by the way, for those listening, would you, as the Giants representative on the mock draft, have gone with Sanders?
Yeah, I think if he's there, I think you have to.
Wow. How about if Hunter and Sanders are there?
Oh, then you definitely take Sanders. If Abdul Carter goes 2,
Yeah. I mean, that's not to pair him with Garrett and go a complete different route.
which, by the way,
Be unbelievable.
that Myles Garrett signing is one of the worst signings I've ever seen.
They're a low self-esteem
From
franchise.
the Cleveland Browns.
They don't know what they're doing.
You legitimately have, allegedly, a young Myles Garrett coming out of the draft that you can take for the low and restart your entire franchise.
Yeah, and trade Garrett.
Yeah. It was like one of the easiest moves you can see.
He wanted to leave, too.
And a guy that doesn't want to be there and is essentially there for the money. He's not about the culture. He's not about trying to rebuild the Browns. That's one of the worst moves from a front office I can remember. I guess outside of Deshaun Watson.
I was going to say, how many moves?
But I can see the vision with Watson. I get it. He was really good. You took a swing like the owner said and it missed. Fine. That doesn't make sense. The guy comes out, he wants to leave. Then you give him the top dollar money, and now he's back, but he's clearly there for himself and not the team and the franchise and wanting to make them better, regardless of what he says. It's clear. I just didn't get that. So
to answer the question with the Giants, you're going Sanders.
Yeah, I think he has the biggest opportunity to put your organization in a completely different direction, and that'd be up. Yeah, so yeah, I would take Sanders.
Yeah, I'd take him today, tomorrow, and the next day. I think he's a franchise quarterback. I think he's a leader. I think it's actually the slander doesn't even make sense to me.
I mean, you have a lot of options as the Giants, honestly. You could trade back. Like, there's a lot of different things you could do.
If you had to ask yourself, Shedeur right now or try to hope the stars align for Arch Manning next year as a Giant, what are you doing?
Man, the Arch Manning talk is hilarious to me because we haven't even seen him play any games.
It's hilarious to me too, but this is what Giants fans are. Well, we're going to get Arch like it's the NBA lottery and it's fixed. I digress. You tell me.
Arch got some powerful family members though. You got some buddies.
They could go do a Rivers Eli thing again. But yeah, in all seriousness, Sanders is right there, tier 17.
Sanders is worth the risk at the quarterback position for me.
I'm on him. Easy question for me. Sanders. Now, if Sanders goes, I guess to put a button on it, which way do you go as a Giant if you're GM?
If Sanders.
So be Ward 1, Sanders of the Browns, everyone else available.
Yeah, Carter to put him on the opposite side of Burns.
I would go Hunter. They're going to put Carter. You already traded for Burns with Tibbs and Dexter.
You can never get it. That's like saying if you can get two edges.
Well, I get it. You can go Philly with it and just keep stacking the box. But
you said go Philly with it like they didn't just win the Super Bowl and were awesome the year before that.
No, I know.
And the year before
the Giants have been a bottom 5 offense for years, plural. So it's a little frustrating to watch them go defense again when they don't have any offense. But all right,
the Eagles are actually a telltale sign of you should add the running back last. That should be the very last piece you add. Everybody else is in place. All right, go add a Saquon or a Gibbs or whoever else.
Let's walk across the locker room to the Jets.
Sure. Flip the signage.
Yeah, flip the sign. They're at 7. That's an opportunity for some talent to drop, and we did the mock as well. So they got some options. Defensive guy leading them with AG. Glenn probably wants to go defense, but they got some offensive line question marks. So what do you do?
A lot of question marks.
What do you do there?
A lot of things to rebuild. I would be shocked if they didn't go defense just with how Glenn operates. That's why I never like a defensive head coach because you're always searching offensively when you got to score in this league to really, really compete, or you have to have a historic defense, and it's just everything is in favor of the offense and trying to score. It's just very difficult in that aspect. Even with how good Detroit was in a lot of aspects defensively, they were putting up tons of points on offense with Ben Johnson in that squad. So we talked about Graham from Michigan yesterday on the Better Half Hour, interior guy that could go with Walker. I would love another edge. There's just not very many guys that can wreck a game. And if you could get one on the edge where you have to either have 2 people who account for them or you have to game plan for them, those are the special guys. So I wouldn't mind going Walker from Georgia on the edge as well.
I like that. What about, you got Sauce. Obviously the DBs are excellent. This guy, Will Johnson, defensive MVP for Michigan. From the Natty last year.
Yeah, he was awesome.
Any thoughts?
He is awesome. Got good pedigree too. His pops was a player. Yeah.
Any thoughts? A corner at head coach drafts a corner first round. I'm leaning a defensive piece for a defensive coach, and it could be either Michigan guy. I like Graham, of course. I like Walker. Will Johnson, something to think about too at corner.
Yeah, if you got Sauce that could really lock up number ones and kind of travel with those guys, I would go interior and fill up a lot of those holes before I went corner.
I would ask you this. There's a left tackle out of LSU in the top 10 of Kuiper.
Oh, the guy that everybody's complaining about his arms?
Yep. Small hands, short arms.
Small
mittens.
Yeah.
Any thoughts?
What a beast.
Well, yeah, but you You
I
lived.
thought he handled that perfectly. By the way,
Well, you lived with Fields, so if you were again take you back to a different Bears, if you're building with Fields as your quarterback, any thought on building on the left side of the offensive line in the first round?
yeah, regardless of who the quarterback is, you got to protect the offense or the blind side, so right or left tackle. If you got a Tua Tagovailoa in the mix on the lefty side,
And if Sanders somehow slides, do you take him? Like the mocks out there have a lot of
Jets?
no, they have a lot of Sanders at 9 to the Saints, but the
right?
Jets are 7. Again,
Yeah, I think you got to see through what you've done. You went and signed a multi-year deal with Justin Fields.
so that's different than Russ.
Yeah,
Big
Russ
time
is clearly
different.
a stopgap.
Fields could
is-
be the guy.
Could be the guy signing. Yeah.
I go off the Knicks crowd when they sign a ball and throw it. What does the crowd say? It's like, they were kind of louder for Russ. I mean, on some level. Fields is to me, I think, a guy that actually still can be a starting quarterback. His accuracy
we
is in
don't know
question.
I think we know the final form of Russ. We don't know the final form of Justin Fields.
But would you like the idea of Sanders backing up Fields and sitting as well and going with Fields and waste of a pick?
Not waste of a pick, but you destroy the locker room immediately.
Really?
It's just a lot of pressure. Yeah.
Like similar to Pittsburgh?
Justin Fields is not solidified enough to hold off Shedeur Sanders. It would put too much pressure on him on the field. And
Doesn't Fields do better in that
brother,
spot?
even guys like Tom Brady, they don't want to look over their shoulder. Do you remember the whole Jimmy G thing?
Yeah. Of
Like
course.
Tom had won multiple Super Bowls MVPs,
Right.
and he still was a little uneasy about that. Get this guy out of here, bro. I don't want any questions about if he should play or what happens. So when you create that atmosphere, regardless of the quarterback stature, you don't want that dynamic. You want a backup and a starter, and you don't want guys that think they can be a backup. You want a Brian Hoyer. You don't want a rookie that's coming with all this juice and his dad's Deion Sanders.
Well, it's just to your point of there's 17 guys in the world, and if he's one of them, and Fields might not be one of them.
But you knew you would have the 7 before you extended Justin Fields. So if you were going into the draft to look for a quarterback, then you should have waited.
So you're going position
So
player.
you're going position player, yeah.
Yeah, I'd still go Sanders if he slides. I don't see him sliding. But yeah, Jets, Giants, 1 week away. That does it on this week's Juice Bar. Go Knicks! Make sure to check out the Juice Bar across all mediums. We're on Apple. We're on Spotify. Sean Little at Chicago Flow. Alex Monaco at Moneyline Monaco. We are rocking every week at MSG Networks. Tune in.